The thrill of competition, teamwork, intensity and hype moments. All things that happen in what people would consider to be your typical shonen manga. Your Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece. But these are all events that happen in sports. The sports genre in shonen manga is nothing new. It's been a staple pretty much since its inception, but despite being a sports fan, well, mostly football, and a fan of anime and manga, I never really gave the genre much of a look. So, in this video, I will tell you how I became a fan of Haikyuu in just one singular episode. Also, call to action, so like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. Picture me put a volleyball in my hand and I'll go, wow, that affects. Time to transition away. So what is Haikyuu? Well, it's a sports anime about volleyball released in 2014 to 2020. Based on a manga written by this guy. No idea how to say his name. The manga went from 2012 to 2020. So as far as my experience with Haikyuu, well, I have been recommended the anime by several different people. But I never watched a sports anime somehow. I wasn't actually avoiding it or anything. I just never really had one that catched my attention. But Haikyuu was the one I kept getting recommended, so I knew I would get round to it eventually. But the thing about Haikyuu is, I know next to nothing about volleyball. I don't closely follow every sport, but I have played and watched most of the major sports you probably think of at some point. So I do know the rules and some of the tactics to these various sports. But the only thing I know about volleyball is that it's sometimes played on the beach, and you got to hit the ball over the net. So I was going fresh into a genre with a sport I know next to little about. In August of last year on a whim I finally started watching Haikyuu. So let's begin. Spoilers I guess for the first episode. Also I will be talking about the first chapter of the manga, which this episode is adapted from. We open with a flash forward to our yet unnamed protagonist, talking about the wall that he must overcome of the volleyball net. But it's okay because he's not alone. In the manga they also give a brief explanation of volleyball, which I shall read as it's written in the official English release. Haikyuu, also known as volleyball. Two teams, separated by a net, bounce the ball back and forth between each other. The ball is not allowed to touch the floor. It cannot be carried once it's in the air. A team has no more than 3 touches to connect and take the ball from receive to attack. Now we know that, on with the story. A young boy is on a bike and happens to see the finals of the Spring High School National Volleyball Tournament. The young boy is excited by a player known as Little Giant, who seems to be destroying the competition despite his small size. He plays for Karasuno High, which is one town over from the young boy. 3 years and 3 months later, we find the young boy, Shoyo Hinata. We find him at the junior high school volleyball qualifier. Hinata is captain of a very inexperienced team, with him having to bring in people from other clubs just to have enough players to compete. It's then the team are met with a rival of Kitagawa Daiichi, and a very angry looking man, nicknamed the King of the Court, Kageyama. Hinata and Kageyama's teams are due to shortly clash. The two teams even have a little confrontation outside of the bathroom. Hinata tells Kageyama he may be short but he can jump. In the two contrasting teams, Hinata's team barely knows the rules and it's their first official match. Hinata is happy to give him a chance to finally play, but despite their inexperience, he feels there's a chance they can win. While Kageyama's team is one of the favourites in this qualifier, Kageyama keeps demanding more from his team. As the match starts, Hinata and the boys are getting shut out, not a single point to them. But Hinata is not giving up on the team and himself. We see flashbacks of all the trials and tribulations it took to get Hinata to the point of just playing an actual game.
部員俺だけですか？
年々減ってね。あ、それと
ここ
試合に出らんないのによく練習やれるよな。
試合には出るよ、そのうち。人集めてさ、今んとこ振られっぱなしだけど今に必ず。
危ねえ。翔よ、大丈夫か？悪い。
じゃあトス上げてよ。
But we finally get a good setup for Hinata, as he jumps as hard as he can to hit the ball, and he does, right into the wall of the opposition defence. a complete shutout for the first set. The second set is getting better thanks to the mistakes made from the opposition. Hinata and the Powers have some points, but with Hinata's determination, they eventually break through the defense and score a point earned on their own merits.
まだ負けていないからまたって触ったカバーだこりゃ取れないよ
Kageyama's angry at his teammates for not trying hard enough to get that ball, but Kageyama recognises Hinata's speed and strength as a threat, yet it's not enough for Hinata and chums to take the set, let alone the match. Hinata, in a heated exchange with Kageyama, vows to defeat him in high school, so Hinata continues to train where he can and is even going to Karasuno High School, home of the little giant. Hinata runs excitedly towards the gym, finally able to take part in a proper team, only to find Kageyama is already at the same high school gym. That's where the first episode and chapter ends. So why did this episode get me so invested? The first episode shows the strength of the show, showing Hinata's struggle just to play a simple game of volleyball. I got super invested in wanting to see him pursue his dream. Everyone has to work hard to achieve anything in this show. This episode shows the hype and importance of just getting a single point. Also, we get to see the budding relationship and rivalry between Hinata and Kageyama. It made me want to see more of how their dynamic evolves. Haikyu has yet more characters, teams, rivals to introduce as the story continues. Also, you learn about volleyball tactics, positions, terminology as you watch the show. If this sounds like something you enjoy, watch the first episode to see if you can get invested too. Because you know, this recap only does so much justice to it, just go watch it and see if it's up your alley. Well, that'll be the end of this here video. So, if Haikyuu seems to something you want to give it a try, watch the first episode. If the video convinced you, if not, whoops, my bad. Well, I think I'm just going to stay out the camera until it's time for you to go away. Make sure to check out some of my other videos, which will be somewhere on the screen right at this moment as the camera's trying to focus. I'm wearing goggles, and that's enough for now.